Good evening, everyone. You can hear my voice. Please give me a thumbs up or a high sign of some sort. Thank you, one and all. Welcome to our work session. We have nothing specifically delineated, but we do have a long agenda, so let's dive right in. The minutes from our meeting of November 23rd have been distributed and before you. How do they look? Everybody okay? Appreciate it. Speak up or wave if you've got something on your mind. We have some public hearing comments this evening. Our city clerk will read those into the record, and we'll make note of that. We don't have any public hearings this evening, and I have no appointments to announce. Somebody spoke up? No? Okay. I don't have any appointments this evening. We'll take committee reports. We are now on unfinished business. We've got the Katie's Pizza matter sponsored by the board as a whole. Everybody ready to go? Thank you. Terrific. Mr. Miller will be from Specialty Awning will be on the call with us this evening, and he will make himself available to answer any questions. Item number 2, Alderman Fauci and Weizanne, you want to brief us on where this stands? I know you've been working hard on it over the intervening 3 weeks, and we appreciate that. Alderman Fauci has a substitute bill, and she'll talk about that now.
Thank you, Mayor. So we have spoken to all concerned parties quite a bit. We've met on site with all the parties together and have come up with a substitute bill that I believe satisfies the requirements of both parties. There will be one quick amendment to the substitute bill, and that is under item H. We will be adding the words "except for safety lighting" on the stair tread risers. Both parties have agreed that it would be a positive thing to add low voltage lighting to the stairs because of where they're located, to ensure that there's no danger going up and down the stairs. We do get very dark very early in the winter time, and so both parties have asked for that. I will commend all involved parties for their willingness to compromise and work together to come up with a positive solution to what has been a challenging and tricky situation. But it does seem that all parties have come to a compromise.
Thank you. Thank you, Alderman Fauci, and thank you for your phone call today. I greatly appreciate that. It brought me up to speed on your hard work over the last several weeks, and your engagement along with your colleagues with the applicant and the concerned residents. That was, looks like you've made some good progress. I wanted to mention to the board, like I did to Alderman Fauci this afternoon, that if you've got concerns regarding her amendment, the last thing I ever want is for somebody to be foreclosed from making a change to something or to highlighting a concern about something purely for procedural reasons. Once Alderman Fauci offers her substitute and then amends that bill, we will be in the 3rd degree, which is fine. We just can't go beyond that for purposes of in legislative procedure. So if you've got something on your mind with respect to what Alderman Fauci is attempting to accomplish, which I completely support, then let's talk about it now. I don't anticipate that that's the case, but I wanted to point it out for everybody that that is how parliamentary procedure works, and I wanted everyone to be aware of that. Everybody okay proceeding?
Fine.
Thank you. Thank you. Good, we'll take that up. I'll recognize Alderman Fauci for purposes of offering the substitute and the amendment, and we will move on that matter today. Alderman Bennigan, do you have something on your mind?
Yes, I have a question regarding the substitute bill. Was it a stipulation from planning and zoning that no lighting be included in this project?
Please proceed, ma'am.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Yes, so if you look under condition H, you will see no electrical, permanent lighting, or plumbing shall be installed in the treehouse. That was a condition added by planning and zoning, and the amendment will simply change it to add the low voltage lighting on the risers, which both parties agree is for safety purposes a good idea. However, although the applicant had included lighting in this revised plan, since that time, this past Wednesday, when his plans had to be submitted for the substitute bill, it was determined that no interior permanent lighting would continue to be in play from the planning and zoning conditions. So again, under condition H, no electrical, permanent lighting, or plumbing shall be installed in the treehouse. The only exception to that will be on those agreed upon safety lights on the stair tread risers.
So then question about that, was planning and zoning's approval conditional on no electricity?
Well, condition H includes the no electrical, permanent lighting, or plumbing. Often the stair tread riser lights can actually, and even interior lights, they can do temporary ones. However, the stair tread riser lights would be a change to what planning and zoning had originally contemplated. Keep in mind, this whole plan is a change to what planning and zoning contemplated, as it is 13.5 feet shorter and considerably moved over from where it was previously. The entire playhouse is being moved from being located on the top of the deck to having the deck as its roof. So it's now being moved all the way to the ground, which has made some changes to what we were contemplating, and that is that the stairs are now on the back side of the playhouse and not visible from surrounding properties.
Okay, so the only lighting that's going to be included is on the treads. There's no lighting in the treehouse.
Correct. The
Okay,
no
thank you.
lighting is staying in play.
Thank you.
Sure.
Are you all right, Alderman Bennigan, with proceeding on this evening?
I am, Mayor.
Thank you. Further discussion? Seeing none, we will take it up. And I again applaud Alderman Fauci, Alderman Weezahan, and others that have worked on this, including the applicant and the impacted residents, for their manner in which they proceeded on this. It's very important to the applicant, and yet the impact on neighbors is well recognized, and a good result was received. We're on item number 3. Alderman Fauci and Holman, are you ready to go on that? Thank you. Item number 4, same question. You ready to go?
Yes.
Everybody else? Thank you. All right, number 5, we've got our budget. Oh, somebody asked a question. Alderman Bennigan, were you seeking recognition? Okay.
Can I just ask a quick question?
Yes.
Last week I had major static when I used these headphones, and I just wanted to make sure everything's coming through clear. Otherwise, I'll remove the headphones.
Nope. Sounds
All
to
good?
me.
Okay. Thank you.
Perfect from my end. Okay, we're on item number 5. That's our budget. This is one of the most important things we do every year. Ms. Wrights has worked tirelessly along with the rest of the team in this building, and I thank her and everyone, all the department heads and the board for their consideration. Alderman Allen led the Ways and Means Committee's consideration. This was not easy. We did not. Everybody needed to take a critical look at their areas of responsibility, and I believe we've done as much as we can do under the circumstances. Is everyone ready to proceed on the budget this evening? Alderman
Yes.
Whitmire.
Yes, Mayor, I am prepared to move forward and I won't stand in the way of the budget as it's presented. I will make some remarks regarding, my thoughts on where I had hoped the budget would end up versus where we are, but I will not stand against it.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate your early communications with me, with our city administrator, and with others on the subject. You've obviously given this a great deal of thought and had some very significant suggestions. Everybody, everyone else ready to proceed?
Yes.
Thank you. Congratulations, Alderman Allen and your commission for your good work on this. It hadn't been easy. Related to that, we are on item number 6, the rate of compensation for city employees, board as a whole. Everyone ready to go? Thank you. Same question on, a lot of these are contractual matters. Item number 7, we ready to go on that?
Yes.
Thank you. Item number 8, same question, professional services. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, this is Jeff. If I may, on these contractual matters, during the public meeting, I will ask our city administrator to just provide a general description as to how this governs the process and the things that they do to feed this, so that we can get some visibility to the management techniques that are being used to leverage these agreements.
I think that's a very appropriate question. Good comment. Mr. Shelton will be prepared, of course. And these services, we applaud where we are and how this has served our residents well, because we're getting great value from these services, and we are not overstaffed and therefore in a bloated financial circumstance during tough budgetary times. But knowing how these professional services are deployed would be very relevant. We'll look forward to your comments, Mr. Shelton. Question, same on number 9. Everyone ready? Thank you. 10, grounds care program. Thank you. Janitorial services, number 11. Thank you. Number 12, traffic signal maintenance. Yep, thank you. Pavement striping at number 13.
Yep.
Thank you. 14, road resurfacing. Oh, this is Topping Road. Everybody ready to go on that? Thank you.
Mayor, if I could, when we get into the regular meeting, I would like to just make a brief comment on a process we're going to be undertaking, performance management. The staff will be utilizing on the recommendation of Ways and Means.
And will that, you want to be recognized, sir, on item number 14?
Please. Thank you.
Thank you. Very appropriate. We'll take that matter up. Item number 15, our solid waste licenses. This was continued from November 23rd. Alderman Benegas, others, are we ready to go? Thank you. Thank you, sir. Item number 16. Alderman Holman, Whitmire et al., you ready to go on this stormwater project? We're going to recognize Mr. Shelton to make some comments regarding resident contribution to that project. Very appropriate. Item number 17, that was a resolution continued from November 23rd. Are we ready to go on that? Alderman Benegas, I'm looking at you. Thank you, sir. Same question on item number 18, the public art. Alderman Hughes, we ready to go on that?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. We're on item number 19, the addendum to our fire services agreement with West County. Everybody ready to go? Alderman
Yes.
Mortland,
Yes.
Alderman Allen. Yep. Okay, we're now on new business.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
Could we go back to 18, please, just for a moment?
Yep.
It's not about that specifically, but the request was made of the commission to present a long-term plan, and they adopted the city's long-term plan as part of theirs. It seemed to be inadequate to me in that when this came up in the past, the question was, what are the locations where the city has interest in placing art, and what kind of art might they be interested in placing there? And that the commission's long-term plan doesn't include any of that. So I'll circle back around to that later, but it won't get in the way of this item for tonight.
Alderman Bennegus, you're from on my audio feed, your last couple of sentences were broken up. You were looking for some discussion regarding the, go ahead.
Yeah, the master plan for art seemed to be, they adopted the city's master plan for art, but didn't identify a master plan from the commission themselves as to, for example, where were the locations where there's interest in public art being placed, what might that art look like? Because that's what got in the way of public art being placed. The Thomas Jefferson statue, for example, that's what derailed that, is that there wasn't a plan citywide of where are we interested in having art to begin with. And so I'm not going to let that derail moving this issue tonight, but I think it needs to come back to the commission for a little bit more specificity in the long-term plan.
Okay, yeah, I mean, that and other things derailed that particular piece of art, but you're right, Alderman Bennegus, that there was a great deal of discussion around that. It went to the commission. It was deliberated somewhat extensively. An effort to develop a policy was brought back. It still remains a work in progress. Alderman Hughes, I'm sure, has got this before her commission and will continue to give that consideration.
Okay.
Anything else on this particular matter? It's a good comment. We are now back on new business. We've got a resolution canceling the second meeting in December. That has been a tradition since I've been around for the last 17 years, but maybe this year is different. Questions, comments, or concerns? Alderman Whitmire.
I agree, it's appropriate to do, but going back to our meeting last time, the notion of hearing a resolution and adopting it in the same meeting, is this where we're going to make an exception to that?
I certainly hope so.
No surprises.
A very fair comment.
Mayor, I think I'm going to contemplate Alderman Whitmire.
Sir, your audio is breaking up a little bit.
Have a game time decision.
Okay, a field audible.
Right.
Yes.
And remember who's calling the votes on this. That was a joke. So we will take that resolution up. It is done at the start of new business for purposes of scheduling, because it then triggers the continuance of the other items on first reading. Item number 21 has a degree of, as an element of emergency concern associated with it. It is a contract on information technology, as you know, and it needs to begin as soon as possible, including January 1 as a start date. I'd like some discussion regarding your willingness to suspend our agenda rules and consider that matter on second reading tonight. Floor is open. Alderman Fauci, and you're on mute.
Am I off now?
You are.
Okay. I think it's really important that we do suspend the agenda rules and second read this bill this evening. I think it's very important that we have the IT contract in place prior to January 1st to ensure a continuation of services nobody is going to show up for work on January 2nd and be happy if there are any computer problems and no one available to assist them for a couple of weeks. So I definitely support the second reading and believe this does constitute, I don't know that we call it an emergency, but I think it does certainly constitute a situation where we are really needing to ensure this goes into place prior to January 1st.
Agreed. Further comment? Alderman Whitmire.
I agree. I think it's important that the city administrator or someone speak to the motion and talk about the process that we followed, the competitive nature, the environment, who we considered, and so forth and so on, that it is, it's been a very professional approach and so forth. It's been going on for quite some time. Just go through all those things so that we can display that we've taken the right steps.
Mr. Shelton, he will be prepared. Alderman Holman. Yes, ma'am. You're frozen.
Sorry. I agree. I just wanted to put my 2 cents in. I absolutely agree and ready to move forward.
The consensus I'm receiving is that the board is ready to move forward, but they want to hear from Mr. Shelton as to the process we followed and the process we followed in getting to this position. Okay, we'll take that up and I'll recognize a suspension motion. We're on item number 22, and I could use a sponsor on that, please. That, as you know, is the abandonment basically of that project.
I'll take it. Ward 1.
Alderman Hughes, thank you. Item number 23, we'll first read that. Dealing with actuarial services. Could use a sponsor, please. Do you want that, Alderman Allen? Alderman Allen, your
Yes,
camera is.
I'm doing something with, yeah, I'm sorry. But yes, I would like that, and I'm figuring this thing out.
Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
I love technology.
We are, Alderman Whitmire, do you want to speak to your resolution?
I certainly am ready to do that, yes.
We are all really struggling with the current set of circumstances. We recognize the strength of the voices on both sides of this issue, and this resolution calls for the county executive to consider other changes in the current policy. Alderman Whitmire, you can speak now if you want, or we can just hold it to the point on the agenda.
Whichever you prefer, Mayor.
Doesn't matter to me. Everybody ready to take this up this evening? Alderman Bennigas.
I am, Mayor, and since it looks like we have a few minutes to be able to discuss this, is this the last item besides the warrant list we need to address?
Yes, sir.
So maybe if we could take a few minutes to talk about this a bit. I've been in contact with a number of the restaurants in Town and Country and talked to the owners and the management of those. Some of them fairly notable ones that indicate to me that they're within weeks of closing their doors. And I just think that we need to do everything within our power and maybe have a bit of a discussion here as to what the best thing for us to do is to have a safe executive order, but also allow these businesses to have a safe way of applying their craft. But we're in some dire straits with some of the restaurants in Town and Country and need to help them out as much as we can. The ones I've talked to, I've explicitly asked, is there anything the city can do as far as providing more outdoor dining or that kind of thing? But obviously with the weather, that is minimally helpful. In addition, I have been informed that outdoor heaters are in back order, so restaurants can't even get those if they did have a space outside to use them. So it's just a real difficult situation, and I'd like for us to discuss not only this resolution, but other ways we might be able to help.
Very appropriate. Alderman Hughes.
Yeah, I've been home the last couple of weeks with COVID. So anyway, I did a little bit of research on what some other cities are doing in regards to this issue. And I spoke with Alderman Whittemire this afternoon about potentially another initiative that we as a city could offer to our restaurants. So I was going to bring that up when we discuss the resolution.
Good. I hope you're feeling better.
Thank you. It's getting old.
Yep. Mr. Shelton, are you seeking recognition, sir?
Thank you, Mayor. We did speak with the Chamber of Commerce today and expressed that we will be doing some more promotion on our website of our local businesses, but wanted to try to work together with the Chamber. And they're going to try to develop a program to promote the businesses by offering kind of a passport system where if you visit a certain number of restaurants or local businesses, you get a stamp and then you're eligible for a free dinner or those kinds of things. So they were excited to hear that the city was concerned and interested in trying to help. They don't have the program yet. It would just be getting kicked off to try to do it today. So
that's terrific.
Sorry.
Terrific. I appreciate the comment.
Excuse me.
Further comments?
Excuse me.
Yes, sir. Alderman Whitmire.
Just the one thing I'll say in response to some of this is, the biggest concern, as evidenced by the note that we got from one of the local restaurants, is that curbside service is not going to keep these people afloat. That they need to open their dining rooms in order to stay in business. And we can't do that unilaterally. I mean, I love the idea of promoting our businesses, don't get me wrong, but if it's not going to help them get through it, that's my biggest concern.
I agree. Alderman Holman.
I don't know if this is a question for you, Mayor, or Mr. Shelton, but if we approve a resolution and we believe our language is spot on, what happens with that resolution? How is it delivered? In what form? And to who? And what responsibility do they have to acknowledging and sharing with council members and community?
I was with you until the last segment of your question, ma'am.
So if we would pass a resolution, what happens with the resolution?
It as I'm reading it, and it has been pared down substantially. It suggests that it doesn't suggest, it resolves that the city asks the county to remove those orders regarding COVID-19. We've got a query whether there's any that we don't want to be asking the county executive to remove, and to establish guidelines to seek to protect the most vulnerable while minimizing the impact on the least vulnerable. So this, what happens is this causes our city to make a formal request for this to this end.
So I understand that, but we then send it over to Sam Page's desk. And then what is his responsibility when he receives that? Does he need to share it with his council, or can he sit on it? Will it go to all the council members? Who will have visibility to this?
That depends on the county executive. I mean, the communication would be to the county executive, and in this instance, his response would be up to his office and his discretion. He has significant authority in the face of a declared state of emergency to affect these public health measures, and that's been tested in the courts.
Okay.
Go Go ahead.
And so Alderman Benegas raises a good question or a good point. So if not the resolution, then what? What can we do as a city to support these businesses? Because yes, we can move this resolution forward, but really what's going to come out of it? So in the meantime, what can we do as aldermen to support these businesses in our city with capacities without breaking any regulations, which I don't know what we can do. And I like the idea of the chamber getting involved and creating, driving traffic to those restaurants. But I'm just not looking to send a resolution somewhere where if it's just going to sit on someone's desk.
Yeah, well, that's all that this does is expresses the interest or the position of the city to encourage the county executive to remove these orders and guidelines.
Yeah.
They have an expiration under their terms, and council may want to speak to this. I believe they are set to expire in the very short term, but they may likely be extended. Other cities are expanding their extending and expanding their emergency orders. There's also, as I understand it, and this I'm right on the edge of my knowledge base, so I look to Mr. Garrett to comment. I understand that there was activity at the county council level expressing a legal theory on which the county executive's orders would need to be subject to council approval. They approved a number of them, and they did not approve some of the others, most notably the ones that are impacting some of our businesses. That, I'm assuming, is working its way through legal channels, and will be some sort of action will be taken on that, but that's a pure assumption on my part. Mr. Garrett, do you have any information regarding those matters?
Mayor, I do not. I know that there's been a lot of discussion and there's been some pushback. I'm not sure where that has wound up, but you're correct. The orders, some of the orders have a life to them. Some of them are issued until further notice. Many of them come out of the health department. Actually, most of them come out of the health department. And so I'm not sure where they stand over there in terms of, and, you know, one of the big issues, of course, is the restaurants. You know, restaurants are open in St. Charles County, they're not open here, you know. And how does that make sense? And they're dealing with that, but I'm not, you know, if I say I don't see anything coming out of the county too soon, my predictions haven't been good. So I'm going to say I don't see anything coming out of the county too soon in the hopes that maybe they will do something. So, but I'm not going to hold my breath on it.
Right. I mean, the same orders. I mean, the city hasn't followed the county's orders. You know, to your point, Alderman Holman, and I discussed this with, I believe, Alderman Benegas. You know, it really might be most effective to work with our county council representatives. You know, those people are in office to represent us. And us includes not only the city of Town and Country, but the businesses that are resident here, and they can be as an effective advocate with the county executive as anything, certainly as this resolution. I don't disagree with the spirit behind this resolution. I'm a little concerned about the language, but that's not an offer to wordsmith it. It is just to say I'm not completely up to date on all of the guidelines, and this calls into question all of them. But the intent behind the resolution is a good one, and that is doing whatever we can do to protect our businesses, which are there, you know, in support of their own interests and the community that they serve.
Mayor.
Yes, ma'am. Alderman Allen.
Thank you. Question, beyond what the restaurants would do, should a restaurant in Town and Country have a door open for someone to come in and eat? Where does the enforcement of this lie? Enforcement of the guidelines?
Yeah, either Mr. Garrett or Shelton, do you want to speak to Mr. Shelton? Please proceed.
I believe those are all enforced by the St. Louis County Health Department. They've been the ones enforcing any of those violations.
Correct, and they've gone out with county police I know in another city that I represent, the city of St. Anne, there were a group of restaurant owners that decided they were going to stay open, and they did, and they've had some legal difficulty. I don't know what the end result of that has been, but certainly they were threatened with closure and with being cited and fined. I don't know what's happened there. There are some other restaurant owners. There are restaurants, and believe it or not, there are some restaurants in St. Louis County that are open. There are some that haven't advertised their defiance of the orders, and they are open. It's kind of like a speakeasy, some of them. No, I'm serious. It's true. But Mr. Shelton is correct. It's the county's enforcement. We don't have the power to enforce it, and there's some argument that maybe we do. I know that several of the police departments in cities where they have opened or remained opened, those police departments are not taking any action, mainly because these are county edicts, and it's the county police and the county health department that enforce them.
Okay, thank you.
Last word on this subject will be Alderman Whitmire, and then we'll leave it to the main meeting for further discussion.
Thank you. So I just like to leave you with the thought of we're really focusing on the businesses, which is very important, absolutely very important. At the same time, the reason this was written so broadly and not prescriptively is because of the broad swath going through our community, the behavioral and mental health of our citizens, the spiritual and religious welfare of those citizens. This is having enormous impacts on people throughout our community. And we're right now narrowly focused on a few statistics which don't capture those other issues. And so I'll leave it at that.
Well, I appreciate your leadership on the item, sir, and your passion behind it, because certainly the spirit of your resolution is supported by many, including myself. We're on item number 25. It's our warrant list, $409,919.61. Is everybody okay? Alderman Allen's got her thumbs up.
Yes.
I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. We will see you in